So, based on your experience in the region, where do you think this ends up? I know that's a tough question to answer, and there's some speculation involved. But is Maduro going to just continue the crackdown, and then eventually we all get distracted and look elsewhere and worry about other things, and there he is for a full third term? Or do you think that these protests could build to the point where he's in danger?
You know, Mike, it's hard to say because it's too early right now, and we don't know how strong the military and the security apparatus is in terms of being fully behind him. They have been in the past, and it's important to note that the generals and the colonels, a high upper echelon of various armed forces. We're talking about the army, we're talking about the National Guard, the National Police, a couple of different intelligence agencies and stuff. These people feed at the same trough as the regime bigwigs. In other words, they're involved in gold mining, they're involved in contraband trade of gasoline, they're involved in the cocaine trade. These are people who've grown very rich. This regime has been very good to them. And they also know that if they turn against it, it is a brutal regime in terms of going against people who are ID'd as having gone against Maduro. We've seen this throughout history. So it's a little bit too early to say, but I have to say that this is Maduro's wounded. He's a wounded animal. I mean, this vote was an incredibly powerful message that anyone who is honest with themselves intellectually would say that this shows that the Venezuelan people revile this man. It was a clear cut result, and so that before the world seriously hurts his regime. The question is, what are the military men going to do? I mean,
Right.
you may have some colonels, some captains, some majors who don't believe in this, but they're thinking to themselves, do I really want to spend the rest of my life in prison or get myself killed here? That's the situation. That's the difficult situation and the difficult option that some of these people face.
And I think it's a great what you said about they're all feeding at the same trough. And look, the question of loyalty within the military, we've seen that play out time and time again in different parts of the world when we're talking about dictators and we're talking about potential for a coup or for the military to shift loyalties and realize that perhaps that time is up. So have you seen, and again, this is a tough question and not kind of a soft science, but in your work, that of the team of Wall Street Journal reporters in the area, have you seen any cracks in that loyalty? In that is there any daylight at all that you've seen between the military and Maduro?
Not this week. Not this week. In terms of military high command, there are some lower level ex-soldiers, I should say, who've posted videos, but going against the regime and so forth. But we don't know if these people are in Venezuela or in Florida. We just don't know, and so there's very little information about that. I mean, in recent years, you have had thousands of desertions from the Venezuelan military. Many of those people, the Colombian National Police have told me that more than 10,000 have come to Colombia. Some of those people, of course, went on to Florida and to other countries and so forth. But you had a lot of ex-servicemen come into Colombia, into other countries, fleeing. And you certainly have had people in the high command who have left, and important intelligence agents and people like that. But not this time. I mean, it's a little bit too early right now, I think, and perhaps the crackdown is too ferocious to prod anyone or lead anyone to turn against the regime publicly. But we haven't seen anything at the moment.